Hello visitors. Nuclear Power Corporation of India Limited welcomes you. Nuclear Power Corporation of India Limited, that is NPCIL, builds and operates nuclear power plants in India. You must have wondered how a nuclear power plant functions. Now, here you can actually visualize some of the main aspects of nuclear power generation. Nuclear power reactors can be of different types. This is a simplified miniature replica model of a 540 megawatts pressurized heavy water reactor. We can call it PHWR in short. A nuclear power reactor generates electricity by using nuclear fuel such as natural uranium. Inside the reactor, free neutrons hit uranium atoms, causing the uranium atoms to split one after another in a continuous manner. This splitting is called fission. A uranium nucleus, upon breaking up into two smaller nuclei, releases a huge amount of energy. Interestingly, during each step of uranium fission, 2 or 3 neutrons are also released. This is the real secret of nuclear power generation. Because now these newly released neutrons go on to hit other uranium atoms in the fuel, and the same process repeated in successive steps. This results in further release of energy as well as generation of more free neutrons at every step. The process is maintained in a continuous series in a controlled way. This is called nuclear fission chain reaction. Fission process generates energy in the form of heat. The heat energy is then used to raise steam. The hot steam under high pressure rotates the turbo generator, which converts this kinetic energy into electrical energy. As you can see, this PHWR unit model has two different structures. The dome-shaped structure to your left is the reactor building. The rectangular structure on the right is the turbine building. The reactor building has a height of 50 meters and a diameter of 56 meters. The reactor building comprises two dome-shaped enveloping wall structures made of concrete, the inner and outer containment. There is a gap of 2 meters between the two dome walls. The reactor building is kept at a pressure lesser than the atmosphere pressure outside the reactor building. This pressure difference prevents air leakage from the inside of the reactor building to the outside environment. The pool type structure at the bottom is the suppression pool. This suppression pool holds a large reservoir of water. In a highly unlikely case of an accident, this water is used for long-time cooling of the reactor core. This is one system. Along with this, there are also other systems available to achieve reactor core cooling. The heart of a heavy water nuclear power reactor is a large cylindrical vessel called calandria. It is located roughly at the center of the reactor building. Here it is shown in red color. It is a high-grade stainless steel vessel, about 5.9 meters in diameter and 7.8 meters long. Neutrons initiate a nuclear fission chain reaction in the nuclear fuel. As explained earlier, free neutrons are continuously generated in the fuel during the chain reaction. This continuous generation and constant availability of free neutrons in the fuel mass keeps the chain reaction going. But there is a condition. In this type of nuclear power reactors, that is, in PHWR type reactors, neutrons must be slowed down for achieving sustained nuclear fission chain reaction. The required slowing down of neutrons, also called moderation of neutrons, is achieved by using a moderator. In PHWR type reactors, heavy water is filled inside the calandria and it performs the function of moderation of neutrons. Hence, The heavy water thus used is called moderator. You may now be curious to know why this special type of water is called heavy water. Normal water is H2O, whereas heavy water is D2O. In simple words, heavy water is a heavier form of water. Heavy water has deuterium atoms instead of hydrogen atoms in it. As many of you may be aware that deuterium has one neutron in addition to one proton, whereas hydrogen atom has only one proton and no neutrons. Thus, deuterium atom has almost double the mass of hydrogen. This presence of deuterium is what makes the heavy water heavier than normal water. But why do we need heavy water? Can't we use normal water as moderator? The answer is simple. Normal water H2O has a strong tendency to absorb neutrons. And you very well remember that if we lose too many neutrons, the chain reaction cannot continue without them. In comparison, heavy water D2O does not absorb too many of neutrons and also achieves the required slowing down of neutrons effectively. Now, let's go back to calandria. The calandria vessel is supported at both ends by end shields. Inside the calandria, there are 392 coolant tubes, also called pressure tubes. These coolant tubes pass through the calandria end shield assembly. Each coolant tube is enclosed concentrically by an outer tube called calandria tube. Calandria tubes and coolant tubes are made of alloys of zirconium. 13 fuel bundles, each consisting of 37 fuel elements, are placed inside coolant tubes through which heavy water flows acting as coolant. The space between coolant tube and calandria tube is filled with carbon dioxide gas, which acts as insulator. The circulating coolant continuously removes heat produced by the nuclear fission chain reaction. The hot coolant heavy water flows to steam generators. There, it transfers the heat to light water circulating in a separate loop to raise steam. 4 cylindrical shaped steam generators are placed at a higher flow. These are shown in silver grey color. The steam raised in the steam generators is taken to the turbine building through steam pipes. These pipes are shown in orange color. The turbine generator assembly or turbo generator is located in the rectangular building on the right side. The steam impinges on the turbine blades with high force and makes them rotate. The generator, which is coupled with turbine, also rotates and generates electricity. The electricity is then routed through a switchyard and transmission systems to finally reach consumers. The steam, after performing work in the turbine, is condensed back into water in the condenser shown in blue color just below the turbine. This hot water is taken back to the steam generators for reuse. Returning back to calandria in the reactor building, you can see control rods on the top of calandria, represented here with red colored pipes. The control rods and the reactor shutdown system are used to control the rate of nuclear chain reaction, to maintain the desired power level of the reactor, and to shut the reactor down during normal and emergency operations. There are several other multiple safety systems in the nuclear power plant to ensure a very safe operation of the reactor. The entire operation of a nuclear power plant is controlled through qualified, trained, and licensed operators. The possibility of human error is minimized by installation of automated computerized systems. What's more, if anything goes wrong, there are systems that automatically shut down the reactor safely. There are several safety systems in a reactor which are fail-safe, redundant, diverse, and independent in nature. Thank you for your valuable time. Have a nice day.